Try and break down point by point what exactly are these espionage charges against the Navy veterans of the Indian Navy all about. So these are concerning the death penalty that have been leveled against the Navy veterans, and this sentence has been done by a Qatari court. They have in fact the Navy veterans have been convicted on charges of spying for Israel. Now, what has happened in this case that ex-Navy officers, in fact, work for a private firm. Now, what did the private firm really do? It was involved in providing training to Qatar military. Now, these people, the Navy veterans, were employed by the private firm for that training purpose. They now have been accused in a 2022 case of espionage and also state-sponsored terrorism. In fact, the Ministry of External Affairs is now going to be taking up the matter with the Qatari authorities, is what we are learning at the moment. Let me take this across to my colleague Siddhant, who is joining us to offer more perspective on the story. Siddhant, the one thing that is crucial is that the details on this particular case are still very sketchy. How did it suddenly come up that there is a sentence as grave as death penalty for all of these people who are related to the Indian Navy?
Well, that's right, Greha. And in fact, many of us will believe that in last few years, India had a very shaky relations with Qatar, and perhaps time and again there were some issues which India did manage to resolve with Qatar. But as far as this one case is concerned, Greha, this arrest was made in August 2022, where in the dead of the night, these 8 Indian Navy veterans were picked up by Qatari intelligence. And perhaps what we have been told or has been reported, we don't have independent verification of these claims. But what we have been told is that they were charged with espionage sections, and perhaps they were put on trial. India has been giving efforts to free them, or perhaps India has been speaking to the government of Qatar, trying to convey to them that there is no intention of espionage or them being involved with any of the intelligence units or working for them. But since they were put on trial in the May, the charges were framed, and again, reportedly, the charges were of espionage or snooping in the induction of Italian submarine into the Qatari Navy. So these people were working on that program. So Dahra is a company, is a defense service provider to the government of Qatar, and these 8 individuals were working for that company. Now, in May, when charges were framed, India did take up the issue with the government of Qatar. In fact, the Indian ambassador to Qatar and the other senior officials in Qatar did meet these 8 individuals. The consular access was also given by Qatar, and Indian side was hopeful that they will try to convince the courts and the government that there is some sort of confusion as far as the arrest of these 8 individuals are concerned. But yesterday what happened came as a shock, not only for the government of India, but also all those who have been tracking this case, because MEA comes out with the announcement and also confirmation in a way that the order has come against these 8 individuals, 8 decorated Navy personnel, and also they have been given death penalty by the lower court in Qatar. Now, the government of India has expressed concerns. Perhaps they have also said in a statement that they are going to take up this particular verdict with the government of Qatar. Now, the demand is coming from relatives and family members, and perhaps the pressure is mounting on the government of India to set them free, or perhaps to speak to the government of Qatar, and if some solution can be drawn to this particular verdict which has come from the Qatari court.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Siddhant. Important story that we continue to track on the broadcast.